Hello everyone, this is a Geek Must Have. The Peppermint experiment is answering the question, can you use a Linux desktop like Peppermint 10 in place of a Windows 10 desktop? This part of the experiment covers the Dropbox cloud file services. Watch the video to find out how it's done. To have a laboratory to perform the Peppermint experiments, Geek Must Have got an inexpensive HP dual-core notebook with 4 gigabytes of memory and 45 gigabytes of disk, and then installed the Peppermint 10 operating system over the Windows 10. There's a separate video showing how the Peppermint 10 installation was done, and I'll put a link to that video in the description below. The Peppermint notebook is being used on a daily basis for any and all tasks that would have been done with Windows. Dropbox is my go-to cloud storage solution, and it's where 95% of my projects are developed and maintained. Dropbox is one of the applications that are loaded but not fully installed during the Peppermint 10 installation. If we were to proceed to complete the Dropbox installation, we would click on the menu and start to type in Dropbox, and it should appear at the top of the list. By clicking on it, it opens up the Dropbox installation dialog, and it says, in order to use Dropbox, you must download the proprietary daemon. And if we click on the OK, this is where we run into what I call the Dropbox Dilemma. After Dropbox has finished its installation and you log into your account, Dropbox is going to try and copy and synchronize all of the folders and files in your Dropbox account over to your desktop system, in this case the Peppermint 10. Currently, I have about 680 gigabytes of stuff in my Dropbox area, and the hard drive on the HP dual-core notebook for this experiment only has 45 gigabytes. Unless we're going to do the loaves and fishes in reverse, there is no way to stuff everything in my Dropbox account in to the Peppermint desktop. This doesn't mean we can't use Dropbox. It means our approach needs to be different. In my case, I have another system in my lab which has been synced with my Dropbox account. It is a Windows 10 desktop system where I have created a share to the drive where all the Dropbox files are stored. Here is what the share on the Windows 10 system looks like. The Dropbox files are stored on my F drive, so we will go to the properties of that drive. And then we will go to the sharing tab, and here is the name of the share. It is F-drive. Now, by going to Advanced Sharing and Permissions, we can see that the J. Schust 2 account on the Windows system called
Obrero
has full control. That would be the user ID we would need to log in with on the Peppermint system to connect to this share. Where are the Dropbox files on this F drive? Well, they're under the users directory, under J. Schust 2, and then Dropbox. And this is a list of all of the folders inside of my Dropbox account. The server message block, also known as SMB protocol, is a network file sharing protocol that is implemented in Microsoft Windows and in Linux and Mac OS. SMB will allow the Peppermint desktop access to the Windows share because both desktops are on the same network, and we will use the Windows user ID and password to access the share. By using SMB to connect to the Windows share for Dropbox, it will make this Windows folder available to the Peppermint desktop. Depending on the permissions granted to the share, That will determine what the Peppermint desktop can do with the files and folders of the share. In order to connect the Peppermint 10 system to that Windows share, we are going to be using the File Explorer. And you'll notice that there's a network tab, and underneath that, the ability to browse the network. And here's the Windows network, and if we click on this, we would expect to see the
Obrero.
Windows system on this list, and we don't. And that is perfectly normal. In order to connect to the Windows share, we will click on the File and Connect to Server, which opens up the Connect to Server dialog, and we'll fill this out. The server always begins with SMB : / the IP address of the system that we want to connect to, in this case,
Obrero.
IP address. The share was the F drive share. The folder was users GMH-089 Dropbox. And then the user credentials, which was GMH-089, the password. We will click on Remember this password and click on Connect. And here are all the files that are in the Dropbox directory on the Windows 10 system, and we can use them now inside of Peppermint 10 just as if those files actually existed here. Any changes we make to them here on Peppermint 10 will be reflected on the Windows share. The Windows share is connected to the Dropbox, which in turn would be synchronized. So anything we do here gets synchronized all the way back to Dropbox. The SMB mounts that you create will be deleted after you reboot Peppermint 10. And this means that you would have to redo the SMB mount for the Dropbox share. There is a way to make the Dropbox SMB mount point persistent so that it will be available after a reboot. To make the Dropbox SMB mount persistent, we're going to click on the File Explorer. The Dropbox is located on this mount right here, and when we click on it, we see all of the folders that are inside of the Dropbox share. To make this SMB mount permanent, right-click on it, and where it says Add Bookmark, click on Add Bookmark. And now you will see bookmarks with a bookmark open for Dropbox. Now if we test this by clicking on Home to see our home directory and then clicking on the bookmark, it does the same thing as it would have done had we clicked on the F drive here. Now we'll reboot the system. The system has rebooted, and will go back to our File Explorer. And you will notice that under Network, that SMB mount is gone. As we mentioned, the SMB mounts get deleted after a reboot, but the Dropbox bookmark is persistent. So we will click on that. And now it's asking us to unlock the Keyring. The Keyring is a sort of a stored database of your login information stored on the desktop. It does have some encryption scheme around it to make it less likely that somebody would be able to just look at it to find out what your passwords are. On this system I have one, and I will key in the password for that Keyring. And now you'll notice that the Dropbox folder opened up. And all the folders inside of the Dropbox share are there. That's persistence. The Peppermint notebook used in the Peppermint experiment has earned a new badge that it will display on its lid proudly. If you were entertained a bit, learned something, or laughed just a little, press that like button. Leave me a comment with suggestions, requests, or even criticisms. I try to respond to any and all comments. Show your support by subscribing to my channel. Every subscriber that I get makes me smile just a little bit more. And I have a channel goal of 500 subscribers by the end of this year. Please be one of those subscribers. I have a companion blog at geekmusthave.com where I ramble on about all things technical. Stop by and visit me. I will leave my email in the description below. Thank you, and have a good one.